Don't sell children, okay? Because children last more than 50 years. Okay, that's not funny. Hi guys, welcome to another week of money and makeup. I am so excited to have you guys back. Thank you all for the love. It was an amazing response to the first video, so we're just gonna come back and do it again. Thank you so much for all of your love, for all of your likes, subscriptions, your comments, your reshares, your reposts, both on Instagram and on YouTube. It's really been amazing. Thank you so much. So this week, we're going to be completing my... This week, I will be completing my autumn look. So this is just a casual look for if you're going on a date, you're hanging out with friends, just going for a coffee, or you just want to feel cute. This is my go-to. I will put a link to all of the products that I use in the description below. But make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure that this word gets out here. So let's start this video. So let's get started. This week, we're going to be doing my autumn fall look. So this is a cute look, especially, you know, the leaves are red. So if you want to go on a date, you know, this is just a cute look to do that with. Just go for a walk. I know we can't go out anywhere, but you can grab a coffee and go for a walk and copy this look. In terms of the money, one thing that I've been getting from a lot of people is that they want to know how to manage their money better. So I said, okay, cool. The way I see it, most of us have a set income, right? So most of us work a 9 to 5, or if you're currently on furlough, then the government is funding your expenses. So, you know, but the point is that it's a set income, right? And so to manage that money, you either have to work within a budget, or you have to look for ways to make additional income. So I figured this week we will talk about how to make an additional income, and next week we will talk about how to budget. I'm based in the UK, so if you can't tell that by my accent, boy, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I am based in the UK, and so this advice that I'm going to give is based on the UK laws around tax. So I know that at least 2 of them are applicable in other countries, but you would probably want to research that for yourself, because if you get called out by the IRS or equivalent in your country and say that a YouTuber called Ashley told you that you could do this, you won't find me. It will just say user not found. So so make sure that this actually works in your country, but it definitely works in the UK. So this is just 5 ways that you can make an additional income that is tax-free. So there's lots of ways to make an additional income, but this particular income that I'm going to show you is tax-free. So you can keep all of these monies. The first way to make a tax-free allowance in the UK is to tap into your spending allowance, or your trading allowance, depending on, you know, what you research. Or either be called a spending allowance or a trading allowance. But basically what it does is we all have an £1,000 allowance. That means that if we earn any money, and that can be earned from services, from goods, from any money that you make, you know, from a venture that's outside of work, you don't have to pay tax on it for the first 1,000. So this is really good, especially if you want to make a short amount of money quickly. So say, for example, you want to move house, but you don't have money for the deposit, or if you need to, you know, if you want to buy a new phone or a new laptop, you know, I wouldn't say that this is great long term, but every year you have up to £1,000 that you don't have to claim any taxes on, right? So there are lots of ways that you can capitalize on that. So you can start a small e-commerce store, you can sell lashes, you can babysit, garden. Already, oh, it doesn't even look bad there. So let me just keep going. Okay, let's just see. Yeah, so you don't have to pay money on the first 1,000. So you can earn that in lots of ways. And there are lots of ways that you can do this creatively. Okay, so say, for example, you don't want to leave your house, you're at risk of corona, or you're just cautious, as we should all be, to be honest. You can do online courses. You can say, for example, you charge to proofread papers if you're good at English or maths or whatever. You can just charge a student £20 to proofread their essay. You do that with 50 students, boom. You charge £40, you only need to do that with 25 students. That's £1,000. So that's a really quick way to earn money that you don't have to pay tax on. But it can be anything: nails, dog walking, literally anything, right? Just find my brushy brush. Hey girl, how you doing? How you doing? I really like this look, so I'm a bit excited, but I'm usually excitable. Anyway, so that's a great way to do that, but it doesn't really make much of a dent long term. But like I said, if you just need to make a small boost in your monthly or quarterly income, then that's a great way to do it. It's also really great if you're a student and you just need to eat things. Okay, so the second one, and this is one that I have actually done before, as part of we used to have a property management business. By me, I mean myself and my best friend used to have a property management business. And if you rent out a room in a house, and you don't have to own the house, okay? So as long as you're in a house that has a spare room, you can rent out that room and you don't have to pay tax for the first £7,500. £7,500. So a really great way to do that is to, one, either Airbnb. So that is, just putting the room on, just make sure that it's clear that they won't get the whole house, that people actually live there. And you can rent that room out tax-free for the first $75,000. You don't have to pay tax on it, but I would just say, if you don't own the house, make sure that the landlord is cool with that so that you don't have issues later, because you don't want your landlord to surprise you. They're not supposed to, but sometimes they do. If they suspect something, you don't want your landlord to surprise you and there's some random guy or random girl just chilling in the house, right? That's just not gonna be a good look. But as long as the landlord is cool with it, then it's fine. Most of the time, landlords are okay with it, as long as the person who is doing that also lives in the house. So the only time you're really gonna have an issue with renting out a room is if you don't live in the house, but you want to take up a contract with a landlord, but it's called rent to rent, but you're not going to live there. So as long as you live there, you should be fine. Okay? Like I said, so that's for the first $7,500. So a great way, again, I really think that people should tap into students, because students are a great way to make money. So if you have a student or an air hostess or somebody who's not going to be in the house for the full 12 months, you can rent out the room for 10 months out of the year, charge £750 a month. That's $7,500 that you get to keep. And like I said, you don't even have to own the house. So, it's a great industry if you can get it. And yeah, that is a really great industry if you can get into it. So that is a really good way to make money. But again, so it really depends on how much money you want to make, right? So I'm just going to try and go up and up. So yeah, with that one, you're good for 7.5. For the first one, you're good up until 1,000. Okay, the next way that you can make money by that's tax-free is by reselling something that you already own. Okay, so the basis behind this is that, so there are two things that you have to consider in this case. So one of them is the thing that you're trying to sell chattel? Then chattel is a legal term that basically just means that you can touch the thing that you're selling, right? So if you can't tangibly touch it, so you can't sell, auras or good vibes, you know, like it has to be something that you can physically touch that would and move around. Okay, so that's called chattel. So that can be bags, that can be cars, that can be anything that you have purchased yourself and that's in your name and that you're reselling. So again, that's a really great way. If you get creative with it, it's a really great way to bump up your income. It's something that I have like dabbled in, but I never made money with it, but that's not because it doesn't work. That's just because it didn't really have my full focus. I'm just going to clean up these eyes and then I'll be back. So another thing that you have to consider if you are looking to go into reselling things, and also you can resell Yeezys, trainers, all of that stuff. As long as you have bought it and you own it, you are allowed to resell it. So you already know what it's like when it comes to eyes. But the other thing that you have to consider is the fact that it's a wasting good, okay? So you can't sell things that are gonna last a long time, right? So a wasting good means that that thing is due to perish or is due to not be fit for use in the next 50 years. Okay, so obviously this is a bit ambiguous and it's a best guess, but just to give an example, can I even think of an example of something that wouldn't be here in 50 years? Well, if you can think of anything, don't sell it, okay? Don't sell children, okay? Because children last more than 50 years. Okay, that's not funny. Okay, so this one I think is a really fun one, okay? I think this is a really, really fun one, and I didn't know that this was even a thing until I started researching other ways to make a tax-free income, because obviously I've heard of some of these, I've heard of all of these before, apart from this one, which I'm going to mention now, and this is selling cider. Yes, did you know that in the UK, you can sell homemade cider, so you obviously have to brew it yourself or, you know, find a supplier to brew cider, but if you do that, you don't have to pay. I did the thing again. I keep forgetting, right? So, especially in winter, you can see I have really big, pronounced eye bags. So what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to put a dark concealer before I put a light one, but I always forget to do that. So anyway, one eye will look great, one eye won't look so good, but you make sure that you do this properly. Okay, so I'm going to put a bit of dark concealer on, not a lot, just a little bit, because basically if you have if you have pronounced eye bags, what you need to do is deflect the light. So obviously highlighter attracts light, which means that you can see more and more of the darkness. So it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but always do dark before light if you have pronounced eye bags, like obviously I do. I don't know the science, but it seems to work. So you'll see the difference anyway. Yeah, so anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, don't sell children. And cider. We were talking about cider. Right. So you can sell up to 7,000 liters of cider for free. And by free, I mean you don't pay tax on it. You don't have to claim it. So 7,000. So say you sell 14,500 milliliter bottles. 14,000 times, and say you sell them for £4 each, that is £56,000 that you just have. So that is 56,000, right? But if you wanted to if you wanted to get creative with it, you could just put a flower in it. You could put like gold specks in it and charge £7. And if you charge £7, then that is £98,000 that you don't have to pay tax on. So if anybody's interested in doing that, like that is a really good way. Can you see the difference? Like, so if you have pronounced eye bags, definitely do dark before you do light. Okay, but should I fix it? Should I fix it? Can you see the difference? It looks so much better. So, yeah, so like I said, it's not something I'm personally interested in because, you know, you obviously have to have a hygienic setup. So ideally a basement would be great, but I live in a flat. But, you know, it might be something I consider in the future. But if you want to run with that idea, you go girl. You go girl. Or guy. Or guy. Maybe you guys are interested in my makeup looks. I don't know. I won't count you out. Everybody matters here. This is a safe space. Anyway, so the last way that you can make money in the UK tax-free is by trading. Let me just explain what I mean by trading, because obviously I know, but that doesn't mean that you know. So there's two different ways to trade, right? So you can either invest in companies, and I have a lot of friends who do that and they make good money. They honestly make good money. You can trade by investing in the value of a company. Okay, so say for example you buy shares or you buy stocks in either Apple or oil, right? If the value of oil or the value of Apple goes up, then you've made money. So awesome. It's a good time for everybody, right? So I don't do it personally. It's something I'm looking into, but there are so many ways to make money. I would just pick one, maximize it, automate it, and then when it doesn't need you to be physically present, look for another venture. That's the way that I tend to go through things. The second way to trade is what I do, and that is trading on the market. So you can so there are lots of different things that you can trade. You can trade commodities. That means things like oil, natural gas. You can trade metals like gold, silver. You can trade currencies. So like you can trade GBP to US dollar. You can trade cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ripple, Ethereum, all of these things that you might hear bouncing around. They're all tradable assets. And the way that it works is that you trade on so basically you place a trade based on whether you think that the market is going to go up or down, right? It's either going to go up or down. There are no other options. So you want it to go either up or down. And so if you want it to go up, you buy. If you want it to go down, you sell. As long as you're right and the market goes in the direction that you think it's going to go, then you make a profit off the difference. So say, for example, this is a bit more technical, but say, for example, you bought oil when it was $15 and you said, okay, I'm going to hold it till it gets to $25. Like you will make money off the difference of that. Trading is tax-free, especially though the rules are a little bit different if you're self-employed, but I'm assuming most people here have jobs, right? Or are looking to keep their jobs. So trading is a great way to make an additional income that has no limit to it while you still have a job, because your job is considered your primary source of income. So the way that it works is that because investing is, of course, there's a risk attached to it. It's called spread betting. And that, because it's called spread betting, that means that you don't have to pay tax on it. So as long as you're listening to the right sources, like I said, plugging into the right people who give accurate and reliable trades, then you don't have to make any taxes on that. Pretty awesome. So it really depends on what your goal is. Like, I would recommend that if you want to make a quick buck, that you either rent a room, learn to trade, or provide a service. Okay, if you want to make a bit more money, if you say, for example, you're paying for a wedding or something, then again, trading is great. So is renting out a room in your house. Okay, with the room in the house, you can make up to $7.5 grand. With trading, your earnings are unlimited. But if you're trying to permanently and long-term supplement your income, trading is the best way to do that. Okay, so if you want to find out more information about that, please feel free in the description below. And also, if you go to my channel, there's a link that will put you in a personal meeting with me. So you can book a time that works for you, and I'm more than happy to show you how that works. So guys, this is my natural full look coupled with 5 whole ways that you can make an additional income without having to pay tax. That's pretty awesome, okay? So I would definitely find one or find several of those ways and bump it up, because listen, we have one life. Okay, we are only living now, so we have to make the absolute most of it. This is my full look. As I said before, this is great for dates outside, coffee with friends, just something natural, pretty. As usual, I will put a link to all of the products I have used below, as well as anything I have referenced, any article where I found information, and also how to get in contact with me if you want more information. So like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend. If you have some information, share it with the world, and I will see you next Monday.